Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Some of you were commenting that my beard was getting a little crazy, so followed some good advice and took it down a notch. I hope you're ready to get right into our study today. We're actually studying three parables that all come back to back to back. And we're reading in Luke. And so we're reading in Luke chapter 12, verses 35 through 48. And the three parables that we're going to be looking at are the returning master, the thief in the night, slash the watchful owner, and the good and wicked servants. And we're studying all three of these parables mainly because they're all talking about the same themes that Jesus is teaching his disciples, and they all come in the same conversation right after one right after the next. So here is the text. You can either read it at home or you can just listen as I read it here. Be dressed, ready for service, and keep your lamps burning, like men waiting for their master to return home from a wedding banquet, so that when he comes and knocks, they can immediately open the door for him. It will be good for those servants whose master finds them watching when he comes. I tell you the truth, he will dress himself to serve, will have them recline at the table, and will come and wait on them. It will be good for those servants whose master finds them ready, even if he comes in the second or third watch of the night. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Peter asked, Lord, are you telling us this parable? Are you telling it to us or to everyone? The Lord answered, Who then is the faithful and wise manager, whom the master puts in charge of his servants to give them their food allowance at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whom the master finds doing so when he returns. I tell you the truth, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose the servant says to himself, My master is taking a long time in coming. And he then begins to beat the manservants and the maidservants, and to eat and drink and get drunk. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour that he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him to a place with the unbelievers. That servant who knows his master's will and does not get ready or does not do what his master wants will be beaten with many blows. But the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows, just a little bit. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. All right, so a lot here. But essentially, what this is talking about is stewardship. It's talking about stewardship and preparation of our faith, preparation of our actions through our faith. So, in other words, faith in action. If we, as disciples of Christ, believe that Christ, through the power of the Holy Spirit, lives in us and is among us in the world, but we also believe that the Christ will return in the same way in which he left, then we are entrusted with the responsibility of caring for creation, caring for physical creation, caring for people, caring for the planet, being diligent in conserving resources, not squandering things or polluting things, the way we treat people, all of the things that every aspect of our lives should be considered in our conduct through our faith. So if we are looking forward to the future, whether Christ returns physically while we're alive or that comes at a later date is irrelevant. The notion is that we should be living our lives as if Christ were returning now, right now, and that we're going to have a conversation with Christ, that we're going to be standing before Christ, and there's going to be sort of this reconciliation of like, so, hey, what have you been doing, man? Show me what you've done with your life. Like, what's going on? And if we are like the diligent servants who are like, oh, we're excited, we've been waiting for you to get here. Look at all these, look at all the fruit that exists in my life and in around me and the people's lives around me, because we love you, we worship you, we're looking out for people, we're looking out for these efforts in the community. We're trying to help where we can, simply because we can, because we want to, and because that's how you lived your life, and we're following after you. Opposed to people who are like, yeah, I'm Christian, yeah, but you don't really live into it, right? Those are sort of like the servants who know that this future return of Christ is coming, but it hasn't happened yet, and it's taken a long time. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's not going to happen anytime in my lifetime, so it's not really something I need to worry about. And then we get lackadaisical, and we start living, these lives that don't really have any sort of evidence at all that we're Christians. This parable is talking about people like that. You might call them lukewarm Christians, or you might not even call them Christians at all. That those people, according to this parable, there's going to be a reckoning of some sort, right? Christ uses the verbiage that they're going to be cut to pieces and thrown into the mix with unbelievers. That's some pretty powerful imagery. I don't know that you take that literally, but you do what you want with that. I don't personally believe that it's a literal thing, but I definitely think that there's a reckoning that happens. There's some explanation that is going to be due, and some accountability that is going to certainly come into the mix. So perhaps the thing to consider today is, are you living your life in a way that if Christ came today, the parable talks about an hour unknown, right? But if it were today, if today were the day when Christ returned, what might that reunion look like for you? What might that conversation look like or sound like? How might your heart respond? Would it be responding with joy, overflowing? Oh my gosh, you're here, you're finally here. I can't believe this. Come, sit, eat, be with. Or would it be like, oh no. I thought, I don't know, this was like real. I'm totally not prepared for this. Two opposite ends of the spectrum. I don't know what it is for you, but I sincerely hope that there's peace in these thoughts. And if there isn't, for some reason, perhaps that is a prompting for you to move in some sort of direction to acquire that peace in your heart with your relationship with God and how you're interacting with people and the world and your life. I don't know. Something to think about, guys. I hope you enjoyed it today. Let me know your thoughts and your comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Love you.